4/4 is the most common time signature for a good reason. It gets people moving, but that same reason means everyone uses it, which makes it kind of boring. So how can you make a 4/4 bass line that's exciting? The hack coming up. But first, tea.
Hello music makers, I'm Kate Harmony, this is Ray Harmony, and welcome to Hack Music Theory.
This channel helps you make great music that stands out so you can get discovered. Alright, it's time to open your door to Hack Music Theory. The Theory.
In their new single, Let's Go, the Royal We, Run the Jewels use a standard 4/4 drum beat with a kick on beat 1 and a snare on beat 3. But when it comes to their bass line, that's a whole different story. Let me explain. 4/4 contains 4 quarter notes, which are grouped in 2s. This results in the expected,
and therefore kind of boring,
accents on beat 1 and beat 3. Now, as you know, 4 quarter notes divide into 8 eighth notes. So instead of grouping the eighth notes in their bass line into the usual 4 and 4, Run the Jewels group them into 3 and 3 and 2. Which creates unexpected,
and therefore exciting,
accents on beat 2 and beat 4. The hack.
For the sake of this lesson, our example, which is what you see on the screen right now, is very similar to the original song. Instead of copying the song though, explore how you can use this hack creatively with your own musical personality.
Step 1, 3-3-2.
Set up one bar of 4/4 with your grid set to eighth notes and your tempo set to 128 BPM. Let's Go is in the key of E flat minor, so we'll use it too.
And by the way, if you need help with scales and chords, download our free book at hackmusictheory.com.
Right, so start by playing a low eighth note on beat 1, beat 2, and beat 4. These low notes are the first note of each group, and this melodic accenting will ensure that your listeners hear that 3-3-2 grouping. And we need to do this because that common grouping in 4/4 is so pervasive that your listeners will need help hearing this unusual 3-3-2, especially if your drums are still playing that 4 and 4 grouping like they are in the song.
Step 2, arpeggio.
The bass line in Let's Go is an ascending E flat minor arpeggio that's repeated. And once again, the reason this works so well is because it not only outlines the root chord, but it also outlines that 3-3-2 grouping.
Right, now it's time to fill in the missing notes.
So for this example, let's also start with an arpeggio on the root chord to establish the key. We chose the 1, the flat 3, and an octave of the 1. Then in the second half, reuse a couple of those notes. We reused the 1 and an octave of the flat 3. Next, if you want some extra spice, switch it up by using a couple notes that are not in the root triad.
We chose the flat 7 and the 2.
Then lastly, to keep things fresh, you'll probably want to throw in a little variation at some point too.
Right, now that you've overcome the obstacle of boring 4/4 bass lines, let's have a listen to the transformation.
And if you want to keep learning how to make great music that stands out, then you're also going to need to make your 4/4 drums more interesting. So we've got a video on that coming next. Just click it when it pops up in a few seconds, and we'll meet you there.